today I am going to teach you Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. Now he is the person who has written this whole lesson, and a beautiful speech was given to him when he was elected as the president of the Free Africa. And the name of Nelson Mandela, full name of Nelson Mandela is Nelson Raleigh La Mandela. Okay, so I will be telling you about the theme of the story. The theme of the story, the lesson pays tribute to those black heroes and patriots who waged a relentless struggle against the apartheid or the racial regime of South Africa. Here we find a description of the inauguration ceremony held in the Union Building, attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries of the world. Nelson Mandela gives a message of peace and unity of mankind. He forces a new regime which will be based on equality of men and women. He hopes that in the new regime there will be no explanation of men by men. There will be no room for racism and segregation in the new order. Now, I will be telling you once again the main important points of the lesson, and then we will read the lesson. So first, non-racial government. Okay. It was 10th of May 1994. The day was bright and clear. The inauguration ceremonies of the first non-racial government was held at the lovely amphitheatre in the Union Building in Pretoria. It was the largest gathering of international leaders on South Africa and of South Africa soil. Politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries attended the ceremony. First of all, Mr. de Klerk was sworn in the second deputy president of South Africa. Then Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as the first deputy president. Then came Mandela's turn. He was sworn in as the first black president of South Africa. So, now, Mandela's speech. Mandela spoke how for decades South Africa was the seat of white supremacy. Now the presence of all people confer glory and hope to newborn liberty. The black who were considered as outlaws not so long ago were hosting the nations of the world on their soil. Their victory over apartheid was a common victory for justice, peace, and human dignity. Political freedom had been won. Now they would work hard to liberate all their people from the bondage of poverty, depression, and disease. Never would South Africa again face the oppression of one by another. Impressive display of jet. Then there was children after his speech. There was the wonderful, impressive display of jets. South Africans jet and helicopters rode in perfect formation over them in the sky. It was also a demonstration of the military royalty to democracy and to the new government. Then two national anthems were played. Sense of history. Nelson Mandela was overwhelmed with a sense of history. A few years later, after the Anglo-Boer War, apartheid was introduced in South Africa. The society based on racial discrimination was the handshake and most inhuman society in the world. Now, a new system based on the equality of all men, regardless of their color and race, has replaced the old and cruel system. Policy of apartheid. Apartheid created a deep and lasting wounds in the people. The decades of exploitation and oppression of the black produced heroes like Timbos, Sizzlers, and other. These black heroes were men of extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity. The greatest wealth of South Africa was not in the minerals and diamonds, but in men of such great character. Struggle of comrades. Nelson Mandela learned the meaning of courage from such brave comrades. Courage is a victory over fear, according to Mandela. These comrades were ready to risk and sacrifice their life for an idea, the idea of freedom and equality. Even in the darkest prisons, their hopes and faith were not broken. They never allowed the flame of struggle to be extinguished. Uh, well, twin responsibilities. Now, according to Nelson Mandela, uh, see, Nelson Mandela thought that every man has two obligations. What is the meaning of obligation? Is duties and responsibilities. So, he has a duty towards his wife and children and an obligation to his people and country. In South Africa, it was impossible for blacks like him to fulfill both those obligations. If any black tried to live like a free human being, he was punished and isolated. He was forced to live an isolated life, away from his family. He was forced to live a life of rebellion and secrecy. Joining the African National Congress. Mandela realized that only was he deprived of freedom, but his brothers and sisters were also deprived of freedom. That was why he joined the African National Congress. It was his desire for the freedom of his people and their self-respect and totally transformed him from weak young man to a bold one. A law-abiding lawyer was forced to become an outlaw. He realized that freedom is indivisible. He knew the oppressed must be liberated. The oppressed and the oppressor alike also robbed of their humanity. Both of them must be liberated. Main points of the story. The inauguration ceremony of the first non-racial government was held in the Union Building in Pretoria. Politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries attended the ceremony. Nelson Mandela was then sworn in as the President of the Republic of South Africa. For decades, South Africa had been seat for white supremacy. The blacks were considered as outlaws. Their victory over apartheid was common victory for justice, peace and freedom. Nelson Mandela was overwhelmed with a sense of history. The society based on racial discrimination was the harshest and most inhuman society in the world. The decades of oppression where decades of oppression and exploitation of the black produced heroes like Tambos, ÇLASS, and others in South Africa. Mandela learned the meaning of courage from such brave comrades who were ready to sacrifice their life for the freedom of their country, of their people. Everyone has twin responsibility, which I've already discussed. Responsibility toward his family and towards his people and country. If any black tried to live like a free human being, he was punished and isolated from his family and community. Mandela realized that not only he but his brothers and sisters were deprived of freedom. His desire for freedom and dignity of his people made him rebel. He realized that freedom is indivisible. So this is all about Nelson Mandela, all the important points of the lesson. Okay, and now I will be children discussing the lesson with you. So children, this lesson, as we can say, first of all, what is the meaning of apartheid is being given here. Apartheid is a political system that separates people according to their race. So this is a political system which separates people according to their color or race. Okay. Then in the extract from his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. This is from his autobiography. What is the name of Long Walk to Freedom? So this autobiography was written by Nelson Mandela, and this lesson is a part of this chapter. What is the name of the autobiography? Long Walk to Freedom. Okay. So Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress, ANC, party won 252 of the 400 seats. So he was the winner because out of 400 seats, he has won 252. Quite a large number, more than 50%. That's why he was chosen as he became the first, he has won the first democratic election of South Africa's history. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Building Amphitheatre in Pretoria today. Okay, this is about the press report which was held that day. I'm going to read the lesson. 10th May dawned bright and clear. So it was 10th May. Dawned means presented itself. Dawn means presented itself. Presented itself. 10th May dawned bright and clear. So it was a bright and clear day. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries. Besieged is to be surrounded closely. So this speech was given to in his biography, Long Walk to Freedom. He is telling about himself. It means for the past few days I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respect before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. So first time such a large, in a very gala manner, the whole this ceremony was organized on the South African soil. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater. Now this you have to children learn where the ceremonies took place. So ceremony took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union Building in Pretoria. First decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of rainbow gathering of different colors and nation for the uh, installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Zenani. So he was there with his daughter Zenani. Uh, on the podium, Mr. De Klerk was the first sworn in as second deputy president. So Mr. De Klerk was first sworn as second deputy president. Then Thabo Michael was sworn in as the first deputy president. So Thabo Michael, he was sworn in as the first deputy president. When it was my turn, I pledged to obey and uphold the constitution and to devote myself to the well-being of the republic. Now, children, it was now Mandela turn, the most important moments in the history. So, when it was his turn, I pledge to obey and uphold the Constitution and to devote myself to the well-being of the Republic and its people. To the assembled guest and the watching world, I said, today all of us do, by our presence here, confer means give. So what is the meaning of confer? Confer means give. Today all of us do by our presence here confirm glory and hope to newborn liberty out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long. See the wonderful speech given by Nelson Mandela. He must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. We who were outlaws. What were outlaws? What is the meaning of outlaws? Bandits. We who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the rare privilege to be host. Host means the person who welcome the guest. Okay, they are the host now to the nation of the world for our own soil. We thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take position with the people of our country of what in, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. Dignity means grace or glory. So this is the meaning of dignity, grace or glory. Okay, so we have at last achieved our political emancipation. Emancipation means freedom from restriction. So children, this wonderful speech you can see given by Nelson Mandela. Okay, he is telling when he achieved his political emancipation, we pledge ourselves to liberate. Liberate means to free all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty. Now, children, he is taking a pledge that he will be freeing all his people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation. Deprivation means a state of not having one rightful benefit. That means in your own country you will not have right benefits. Suffering, gender are also suffering, and other discrimination. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. So he is telling, never again this beautiful land will suffer any type of oppression. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. So you can see how nicely, children, this speech has become very famous, a speech of Nelson Mandela. And you can see how beautiful he has spoken. In a very dignified manner he has spoken to each and everybody. Now, page number 19. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of South African jet. A spectacular array means an impressive display of colorful and attractive. You can write an attractive display. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe. Awe means wonderful, in wonder, as a spectacular array. Spectacular array means an impressive display. Helicopters and troop carriers rode in perfect formation over the Union building. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military loyalty to democracy, to a few government that had been freely and fairly elected. Only moments before, the highest general of the South African Defence Force and Police, their chest bedecked with ribbons and medals from days gone by. So, children, a nice demonstration of the military loyalties in democracy to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected was shown by the helicopters and this jet. Only moment before, the highest general of the South African Defence Force and Police, their chests bedecked with ribbons and medals from days gone by. So children, their chests were decorated with ribbons and medals. Before that, earlier that, they were not bedecked with ribbons and medals. Okay. Saluted me and pledged not so many years pledged their loyalty. So they saluted Nelson Mandela, their loyalty to him and towards the country. I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. Now children, he knew, he remembered the order passed by the previous government. These people who are now saluting him, they were the one who came forward to arrest him also one day. So this was remembered by Nelson Mandela. Finally, a chevron of Impala jet. Chevron is a pattern in the shape of V. That means V-shaped pattern was made by Impala jets. Left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue and gold of the new South African flag. So children, beautifully they had made a mark in the sky. They have created a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue and gold of the new South African flag. So they displayed the flag color. The day was symbolized for me by the playing of our two national anthem, and after that children, two national anthem were played. And the vision of whites singing Nikoski Cycle, Africa and black singing the die stem. So children, two national anthem were also played. Nikoski Cyclade, that was Africa, and black singing die stem, the old anthem of the Republic. So both the national anthem were played. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem, they once despised, had a very low opinion of. They would soon know the words by heart. Now children, very soon, since they have not sing their national anthem for ages, so very soon they are going to sing, practice, and they are going to by heart it. Now, on the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means filled with emotion. Overwhelmed, I will write the meaning. Filled with emotions. So on the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years, the bitter Anglo-Boer War. Now, children, here remember that the Anglo-Boer War, and before my own birth, the white-skinned people. The white-skinned people, that means children, the people of white race, that means the American or the European white. They were known as white-skinned people. So, white-skinned people of South Africa patched up the differences and erected a system of racial description. So, children, these people, they have patched up their differences and erected means a built a system of racial domination against the dark skinned people of their own land. So these people, children, they had started doing racial description in the own countries of the South Indian people. They were children, apartheid was seen. The structure they created formed the basis one of the harshest, most inhuman, and children, the structure of the government was one of the most harshest, most inhuman structure. Inhuman means anti-human. What is the meaning of inhuman? Inhuman means anti-human, anti-human structure. Societies, the most inhuman societies the world has ever known. Now, in the last decade of the 20th century and my own 8th decade as a man, that system had been overturned forever and replaced by one that recognized the rights and freedom of all people. Now, children, he is telling now that system has been overturned, and now you can the rights and freedom of his own people, means that means the country people of South Africa. Okay, they were given full freedom. They recognize the rights and freedom of all people, and regardless of the color of their skin. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people. So, that day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people, people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. Now, children, the day has come. In his very beautiful speech, he is telling that day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of his people. So he is not, children, telling this day has come because many people, they have sacrificed their life. People whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. So that line was finished, but now again he had started that noble line. Okay, what was the line? The line of freedom. And I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that we're not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. Now, children, he was very much, wrought means achieved. Wrought means achieved. So, he is telling that those people who really sacrificed their lives, they were gone. They are no more now. That Mandela was not able to thank them. He was very much pained to see that their sacrifices had not wrought. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. Now, children, these are the name. You can see the pictures of all the great people who had sacrificed their life. Okay. So it is there in the book only. You can see the various picture, children, various picture you can see. Okay, so these are the one. It is there in the book. Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Lothar, Yusuf Dadu, Bram Fischer, Robert Sobinique. Then two-person Bram Fischer and Walter Sisulu, I feel they are the white people only, but they stood for blacks. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generation, recovering from that profound hurt. Profound is deep and strong. But the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended unintended effect. That was that it produced the Oliver Tombos, the Walter Sislus, the Chief Lutus, Yusuf Dandes, the Bram Fischer, the Robert Sobukways of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity. So it's telling that but the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced. So it was that the effect of brutality was too much. It produced the person like Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthel, Yusuf, Bram Fischer, Robert Sobku. So all this person he has produced. Okay, and finally, children, these people they got freedom. So I will be explaining this. Okay, in my next video. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.